Yeah, Friday the 26th, day after a storm. Got a little bit of snow yesterday and last night. Oh, approaching 5:30, so late January now, month after the winter solstice, and days are, a month ago at 5:30 it was pretty dark. So I rolled some hay out over on this side of the property before the storm a couple days ago, and called them over here yesterday during the storm, and they got into some bales, and then they was wondering if they were going to find this stuff that I rolled out, and they did. They got a good habit of smelling it or uncovering it. Good cover here for them. Good place to ride a storm out. Not really very cold out though. Don't know what it is about just that peacefulness after a good heavy winter snow in the winter. Kind of a peace that you don't get the rest of the year. I'll come in an area like this in the spring, probably late March, throw some of that cold snap annual ryegrass down, and boy, it'll come up in here. It'll come up super fast. Had really good luck with that. And they're scattered up and down this slope over here. We got on a lot of us locals got on a pretty good discussion the other day on Facebook Marketplace on a Michigan hay selling list. And somebody posted $10 a square bale. And of course some lady was cocky enough to write that was highway robbery. Well, turned out it was mostly a lot of hay producers chimed in and said, good luck, I hope you sell every bale that you make. But it got into a banter back and forth between buyers and sellers, and a lot of misconceptions there, even among farmers. You know, you could really tell on this thread who was farming and who isn't. And it got real crazy. The discussion even went to alfalfa versus grass. Tom Chambers chimed in, goes, well, you should charge more for grass than alfalfa. You know, I think he's talking about like second and third cutting, because you get so little of it. The yield's so low compared to, you know, subsequent cuttings in alfalfa. And that started a whole nother debate about what you make more on, alfalfa or grass. And so that was interesting. And then somebody chimed in and was saying horses colic because of bad grass hay, and I said, well, I don't see any evidence of that, and that you should buy your hay based on whether it makes your horse colic or not. It got pretty crazy. Well, I guess they're gonna follow me. They're about done with this hay. Take them over to the other side of the farm where the rest of that hay is now. Right here was a bale of brome grass I unrolled. So they come over. This probably had 6 inches of snow on it by this morning. So they were able to come over, and they actually cleaned that up pretty damn good, really. This is actually probably where they spent last night, down in this little draw. bale, the hay was right down here, 2 bales worth. So getting back to the these Facebook pages are where a lot of people now are going to buy and sell hay. But it kind of brings out, you know, some of the, I guess the worst people are gonna show up there to complain the most, or the worst hay sellers. So we're gonna, MSU Extension used to have, along with the Michigan Forage Council, used to have a Michigan hay sellers list. And Michigan State University hosted it, but they took it down. They said it was obsolete. The software wasn't good. So we're gonna, so now we're gonna tie it into, there's a guy here in Michigan whose son has a business called it's called Agra Hay Exchange, AGRI hyphen Hay Exchange. It's a subscription service where you can, buyers and sellers can, you know, go on there and search areas of the country and tonnage and quality and price, and, you know, network that and get back to that. But there was a lot of, you know, a lot of people thought, well, Facebook would be the way to market hay because it's quick and easy. But it really, it kind of doesn't give you a good, clear idea of how much hay's on the market. I think it's a little bit misleading, actually. And they're all just lined right up there. Yeah, it doesn't give you, Facebook doesn't really, there's a lot of people listing, but a lot of times the information isn't real accurate. It's also kind of difficult to look up hay in your area sometimes. Sometimes you'll be typing in search of hay in your area, and it'll be giving you hay in Kentucky or something like that, you know. And typically, if we go back to a website where you have more serious hay sellers on there, you'll weed out the people that, you know, because this is what we found was somebody says they've got 5,000 small square bales of orchard grass in the barn, first cut. And then you call and you say, yeah, I want to get a semi-load. And then there's always a catch a lot of times. It's like, well, you know, 500 of them left are probably pretty good. The rest are, oh, they're kind of tough. They got rained on, this and that. But when you go to the better, higher quality sites where commercial farmers are putting their hay on there, I think you'll get a lot better, you know, result there on, you know, I think what you'll find is a little bit more serious hay producers in that. You know, inevitably when you get discussions like that, you always get the people, usually somebody chiming in about how they get hay real cheap, blah, blah, blah. And then you point out the obvious and you say, well, you know, that's below my production cost even of doing it, or whatever, you know. And when something like that happens, and they'll say, well, that's just a friend of mine though, or he's my neighbor or whatever. Well, you know, I always say the first person you make sure, besides everybody else, that they get paid what they're worth is your friends. And, you know, again, when you're trying to make a living doing hay, and you have to listen to people talk about, oh, well, this guy's my friend or neighbor, so they're going to sell me hay at cost or below cost. It's just good to be separated from that chaos that distracts you from, you know, wise business practices, you know. So having a list where dedicated hay farmers are selling and marketing to dedicated purchasers, you get a better idea then of really really what the market is. I guess I'm saying I think Facebook is too indicative of what's going out there. It makes it look like there's a lot more hay that's available than there actually is, just because of the high number of people posting small quantities of hay. I do think, though, it is hard to beat Facebook Marketplace for like local marketing of small quantities of hay, because almost everybody that I've met that way, they just want to be a good, honest, paying citizen and pay you and get hay. I mean, I've done some deals here local with people I've never met, all just going back and forth on Facebook Messenger. Want to load around bales. Okay, give me your ad when you're available. A little bit of back and forth. What's your address? Okay, be there today at 5 o'clock. And that part of it, that is really hard to beat. So, for somebody like me that I don't have like semi-load quantities of hay going out of state, a lot of it's local, still a pretty good place to market. But when we did have that Michigan hay sellers list, we still had, local. You could divide it up by regions of the state. Where are you looking? Are you buying? Are you selling? What kind of hay? How many tons do you have available? Is it tested, not tested? Is transportation available? All that.